welcome along to Witsup TV, a special Kona edition. I've got BG back in the this quite comfortable
studio,
armchair.
in our personal studio.
That's right, they've built this decking just for us. Yes, thank you very much. We will come back again next year. You've just arrived on the island. Welcome.
Yes.
What do I say? Aloha.
Aloha. No, it's good to be back. Love it. Love it here.
You weren't here last year.
No, and I hated it. I still distinctly remember being at home last year when all the tweets and the Facebook messages were coming through and I was filthy. So I said to Justin that day, there's no way I'm missing it again this year. Because, you know, I'd been every year before that for the last 12 years or something. Yep. So to miss last year was disappointing, especially with Luke McKenzie having such a great day and, of course, Rinny winning and Lizzie B third on debut. So these are all girls that I've grown up with, that I've watched over the years and trained together with. So I hated missing it. So there's no way I was missing it again this year.
Well, they call it FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah, and that's me.
Yeah,
that's me.
Definitely. That is you to a T. Absolutely. And last year, 2 Aussies on the podium as well. And Joyce is, you know,
well,
she's
a Brit, but we'll take her.
Yeah.
No, we always take the good ones.
Yeah, well, that's very, very true.
The cool kids.
Now, I've been here since last Friday, and it's amazing how such a quiet little town, day by day, it just gets busier and busier. But let's compare it to 12 years ago, or however long ago you first came here. How much have you seen this race grow and this town grow from this kind of event?
It's unbelievable. I think my first time here was when Justin did it in 97. And to see it from then, I mean, even back then, of course, it was big for us. It was still the biggest race of the year for us back then, but it was nothing compared to now. Like watching the expo set up today and just how big it is. When I first came, the expo was one tiny area. Yeah. In fact, it wasn't even here. It was at the King Cam, just inside the King Cam. It was tiny.
Yeah.
So to see it now here, across the road, down the road, and of course expos being in all the shops up and down the Alihi Drive, it's unbelievable. And seeing all the sponsors with their houses and their signs out the front, and you know, I love it. Even today, Justin and I went for our first ride today, and he looked at me and he's like looking at me strangely because I had this huge grin on my face. He's like, we're out in the middle of Queen K, and he's like, what are you smiling at? I said, I just love this. I can't help it. It's such a cool atmosphere. Everyone's here. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know, I can't help but smile. It's perfection. It's like, you know, 1,000 of your great mates here doing what we love. So
actually, that's true. When you try and catch up with Belinda while you're here on the island, just allow for an hour so she can speak to every single person that she bumps into in between.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mental.
It's crazy.
Does it make you, because you are retiring at the end of this year, does it make you miss it, or you're happy to sort of take on that next role in your career, you know, whatever that may be, sort of from the sidelines, I guess?
Look, I stand here now and I don't want to race on the weekend. I'm quite happy to
It's really hot.
I'm quite happy to watch these girls, and I think it's going to be such an exciting race this year, so I'm even more like hyped up to watch it. But if I did miss anything, I wish we could take time back.
Yep.
So I was young again, so I could just do it all over again.
Ah,
so
nice.
That I do miss. I miss being 30 again. If I could be 30 again and start it all over, I would love that. But to race it now at my age, this race is it's a little bit beyond me now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, you know, age should be a barrier, but for me to race as a professional, where I am now at this particular race, it's too tough. I'm quite happy to sit on the sidelines and cheer.
Well, speaking of the race, let's take a look at some of the contenders. Depth of the field just keeps getting bigger and bigger here, and
unbelievable.
There's 10 women who could win this. Definitely 10 different women who could be on the podium, or more than that, who could be on the podium.
Definitely.
I'm not going to ask you to say who your absolute favourite is, also because
too many.
Yeah.
Really, there's too many. I mean, there's so many girls doing it this year that are legitimately good friends of mine that I just can't pick it. But look, at the end of the day, if you have to be truly honest, you still can't go past Rinny just because there is no one in the field that can run like her, anywhere near what she can run. I mean, Caitlin Snow might be the closest, but you know, she's too far back on the bike for it to be a real problem. But Rinny's just such an amazing. I mean, she's an amazing runner as a pro male. Let's get that right after last year's race. You really can't go past her taking the win. She's done it twice before. She knows what it takes. She's cool as a cucumber.
She is, isn't she?
Yes,
she's so relaxed.
Unbelievable. So if I had to be honest, she's still probably my favourite to take the win.
Yeah.
But this race is also about wanting it. And when you've already had it twice, is that drive, is that hunger still there to get it for that third time? And there's some girls that have just missed it.
Yeah.
You know, like your Carolyn Steffens, who's been teetering on the edge. And she probably knows that if she's getting very close, that if she doesn't do it now, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and she's in awesome form. So I expect Caroline to really be up there giving it a nudge. But then girls like Lizzie B coming back, coming here for the first time and getting third.
And that was actually the fastest time ever on debut.
Yeah, so that's amazing. And she's coming back this year with a full year of Ironman training and another Ironman win under her belt. So that holds her in great stead for this year as well. But
she looks fit.
She's got one of my favourite bods. Little cut body. She looks amazing. She always looks good.
And a great personality.
Oh, of course. All these girls are gorgeous. Love them.
That's true. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Rachel Joyce, obviously, very close last year. I love Rach because she's like I call her the secret achiever. She just goes about her business quietly. You don't really know. Doesn't give too much away.
Yeah.
Almost looks too nice to be competitive. Does that make sense? She's just such a sweet little girl, but you know she's competitive, and when she gets out there and on the day she'll give it everything. So she's going to be a tough one to beat too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of Joycey, I better go catch up with her.
Yes, you better.
I'm going to get out of here.
See ya.
You're quick.
Yeah, thank you. It's very warm in here, here in Kona. You're sweating a little bit after a bit of a swim, I see.
Yeah. I haven't really stopped sweating since I got here.
Okay, now that I've caught my breath, we are here down at the pier at Digby Beach, the swim start of the Ironman World Championship. We have the very lovely Rachel Joyce, runner-up last year. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
It is good to have you back here. Now, I want to talk to you about all of your commitments this week. Kona is just crazy. You're a very lovely person, and I assume you want to say yes to everyone, but at some stage you've got to say no and just put your feet up, right?
Yeah, I'm getting better at saying no, but, you know, I kind of do struggle, but I've got better, and I kind of try and make things as quiet as possible after Tuesday, and, you know, so I've got as much rest time as possible. But, you know, all the sponsors are here, and I kind of want to do as much as I can for them. And, you know, you see so many people that you know that, you sometimes just have to have tunnel vision and kind of get back to the condo.
And I assume your sponsors are pretty understanding that it is a pretty big race on the racing calendar for you?
Yeah, they're really, really understanding, and for instance, Cervelo, all the commitments are after the race, and they're really fun, and I think all the sponsors are really aware that kind of rest is the most important. So, you know, they don't put too many demands on us. Yeah, well, on me anyway.
Yeah, just everyone else. Now, I want to talk about your last race at Challenge Roth. You're runner-up to Rinny, the current world champion. Now,
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, it's what we do. Now, I want to talk to you about that race and how out on course you and Rinny had an agreement that you weren't going to race each other outside of Kona again. Can you talk me through that time in the race that happened and why you guys came up with that agreement?
I think it was kind of coming up to about kilometre 29 or 30 on the run, and you know, it's like a double-edged sword because I love racing the best in the world, and Rinny is, you know, she's the current world champion, but on the other hand you're like, damn, this is a hard way to earn a title. So I think we were both pretty fatigued, and we're like, let's leave it for Kona. Yeah. So we had a little shake on it out on the run course in Roth.
I love it. So when you get back to Boulder, the both of you are going to sit down with your coaches and map out your schedule for next year?
I don't know, because I think we both really want to do Roth again. So, you know, we may end up having another showdown there. I don't think, you know, I haven't even thought that far, but it's hard not to do Roth, so I just have a feeling we might both end up being there again.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, coming into the race, obviously I want to talk to you about your form, how you're feeling, the race itself.
Yeah.
From an outsider's point of view, we try and pick, who's going to be on the podium and stuff, but this year it's going to be so tough. It's got to be pretty exciting to have, potential 10 different women on the podium.
Yeah, I mean, the depth just gets better and better every year, and we've got, new people coming onto the scene and people that kind of are pretty new to kind of the longer distance, and so it's like no one knows how it's going to play out on Saturday, a week today. There's Daniela Reef, who's just like on form, and Jodie's had like a really good run, and then there's all the usual suspects and plenty of new people, so it's going to be an exciting watch. Yeah, I think.
Oh, for sure. This year, earlier on, you were struggling with a bit of injury and illness, but came very good, obviously, for Roth, and you seem to have timed it well in terms of getting into Kona looking pretty fit.
Thank
so
you.
How are you feeling?
Thank you. It was a slow start to the year. I kind of was really low on iron, and it just took me a little while to listen to the signs. But I'm really, really pleased with how the build up to Roth went, and then I've stayed consistent after that, and I feel in better shape than I did for Roth, and that's a nice change because I felt like last year I was kind of firefighting coming into the race, and but on the I expect all my competition to be faster and stronger than they were in July too, so that's just what you have to be. Yeah.
And that's the thing, I guess every single athlete is the fittest they're going to be all year here. They're all, on paper, it's really hard to decipher who's going to win, like we said. So a lot of it comes down to up here, right?
Yeah, I think that's for any race it's a massive thing, but the World Championships especially, because my first visit to Digby Beach and I was like, geez, everyone looks so fit, and you have to kind of really keep those thoughts in check coming into the race, and it's a tough course, and there's so much pressure that we all put on ourselves, and a lot of it is about how you handle that out there, and like any Ironman, things go wrong, and it's how you deal with that out on the race course too. So there's a big physical element, but maybe even bigger mental bit to it.
Awesome. Well, you've got a pretty good head on your shoulders, so I'm sure you can handle it.
Sometimes.
Until the after party. We'll talk about that later. What happens in Kona stays in Kona. Thank you very much for joining us. I've got to get back to the studio, but have an amazing race on Saturday. We'll be cheering for you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Alrighty, and we are back from a nice little jog down to Digby Beach. Let's take a look at some of the other contenders. Do you know someone I'm really keen to see how she goes this year is Jodie Swallow. Great race in Mont Tremblant 70.3, and she's one of the gutsiest. I love the way she races.
So do I.
It is out the front. It is go hard, go home.
Yep.
I imagine she learnt a lot from last year as well.
Definitely.
What do you think?
Yeah, and I think with that, I've said it many times after every race Jodie does. I always tweet her, and I just love the way she races. She races for first place.
Yeah.
She doesn't play it safe.
Yeah.
That's not saying that she races like a crazy woman, but she gives it her all and puts it all out there on the day. And obviously with Ironman, that's taking a little bit of a risk, but every time she does one, she learns a little bit more and she can get a little bit more out of herself. And obviously the only thing that's going to stop her is the run.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying she's not a great runner, but she still probably hasn't perfected the Ironman run as yet. But her swim and bike, I have no doubt she'll be off the bike with that top group.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that top group.
Yes.
That top group used to be 3 or 4, but that top group's it's not as big as the men's, but it's growing.
Yeah.
And so Jodie's going to be in that group. Rachel's going to be in that group. Daniela Reef.
Oh yes.
There's a girl that I think everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
She's still very, very new to Ironman distance, but has come in all guns blazing.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be really interested to see how she goes, and she'll what she may do to that group is really push the pace.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see if she's content to just ride in that front group, or if she's like, no, I'm not hanging around, and tries to split that group up. Because there's another dynamic could be really interesting. We might have that front group actually split into two.
Yeah.
And then we have a whole new ball game. So
Yeah.
oh, I can't wait.
Well, she's under the tutelage of Sutto, so you've probably got a bit of an insight more than most as to how his brain ticks. What do you think he's saying to her?
Well, I can tell you what he will be doing is not telling her how the race works, because I think what he loves with Daniela, and he loved it with Chrissy when he first had Chrissy into this race, is their naivety.
Yeah,
that they actually don't know how this race works, that they don't have any preconceived ideas. I'm sure Daniela doesn't know all her competition because she's from short course. She doesn't know all the girls she's racing that well.
Yeah.
And that can be a good thing. Not knowing a lot about this race can actually work to your favour. I think it worked to Lizzie's favour last year.
Yep.
She went in with no preconceived ideas and just gave it everything and got third.
Yep.
And I think it's actually quite a nice way to be for this race. So that's why I think Daniela will, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for her to not finish on the podium.
Okay.
So she's definitely a podium pick for me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Called it.
Podium pick.
All right. Let's take a look at some of the other women who'll be in that front pack, including MBK, Meredith Kessler.
Yeah.
Now, she's changed her racing schedule a little bit this year and really has honed in on this race, whereas in the past she's done quite a lot of Ironman racing in the lead up. So, and I caught up with her the other day. She is, like everyone else, is looking fit, but she's looking good. She's focused.
But I've really noticed that she's actually slimmed down a lot.
Yeah.
And I think, for most Ironman distance races, I don't really care about weight, but I think for this particular race, because of the extreme heat and humidity, any extra weight that you're carrying, it does make a difference on the run. It really does. So looking at Meredith, she looks ready for this race.
Yep.
And I think she's a bit sick and tired of coming to this race, having won races all year and really not finish it off.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think we've seen the full potential from Meredith at this particular race.
No, I agree.
I think this year she really has focused on this race. She's coming in fit and uninjured.
Yep.
And she'll be up there in that front group, and I think we'll actually see her running capabilities better this year. So there's another girl that could be podium. There's too many.
Too many. Well, speaking of running, I'm going to go and run over to catch up with one of the best runners on the planet, Mirinda Carfrae. All right, here we are in Kona with ex-basketball player and ex-saxophone player, Mirinda Carfrae.
Hi.
Best intro ever. You also happen to be the current world champion, the champion from Challenger Off on debut. So coming into this kind of race, I know everyone's going to ask you, you've got the target on your back. Do you approach this race any different to other years?
I mean, absolutely not. I think the formula that I've put together in the last 5 years has been pretty good. I just
okay.
I can only hope that it keeps working out in the same sort of fashion as it has the past couple of years. But no, I mean, I'm going in all guns blazing, the way I always race this race. And we'll see.
Now, one thing I love, like when I talk to you and your coach series, that you often talk about being a team. And in the lead up to last year, you just got back on board in Siri. Now you've had a whole 12 months, well, plus the bit before Kona last year. So I can only imagine that team has strengthened over the past 12 months, yeah?
I mean, honestly, 6 months before Kona last year, hopping back into her program, it felt like, no time had been lost. And I think, every year that we work together, we are a better and a stronger team, and that's no different this year. I think, we're solid, and we've done a good job getting prepared for this race, I think. So, we can just perform on race day.
And as far as a goal, obviously the goal is to win, clearly. But
so, it's to perform the best you can. But winning's very nice.
Winning's a bonus, blah, blah, blah. But when you break down the race, are you looking at different goals within the race as well?
Sometimes. I always used to target the run, try and be the fastest runner on the day, and breaking that run course record the first couple of years was really important to me. But now I'm trying to be a more complete triathlete. So, I mean, I'd like to be a bit closer out of the swim, but if that doesn't happen, obviously it's not the end of the world. And then obviously I've been working really hard on my bike to try and improve over the past couple of years. So at times you kind of have to throw out the window a little bit in the swim and the bike because of the wind or potentially chop or currents and so forth. So The run's really the only one, unless it's super hot, that you can kind of almost rely on, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, I don't have time goals. It's just more of where I am in relation to the other girls, where I'd like to be. But again, I have plan A, plan B, plan C, and at the end of the day, I just have to race with whatever I have and see what happens.
We saw a big improvement at Roth with your bike. Like, you really nailed that bike. So obviously things are going to plan with the cycling.
Yeah, I think it's just been a work in progress. I feel that I'm, a little bit stronger every year, and as probably 3 years ago, I worked with Matt Steinmetz, and we really focused on the bike and really heavily made sure that I was getting in all the quality sessions and putting the bike first. And since then, we haven't really changed that around too much. Still making sure I'm improving on the run and still working to become a better runner off the bike, but the biggest time gaps or biggest time gains can be made on the bike, I feel, and hopefully I can show that again on the weekend. But time will tell. I mean, there's some super strong bikers out there. I think they're going to be very motivated this year to try and put a bit more time into me and the rest of the girls if they can.
And I just want to quickly go back to Roth as well. And we spoke to Joyce earlier. And how you guys had the handshake agreement out on course that you never wanted to race each other outside of Kona again. Who was the person that said it to who?
Oh, I said it to her.
I love it.
So I was just like, this is way too hard. I can't mentally be doing this mid-year. And I know that this battle is going to be happening again in October. I can only really get up that much pain once a year, I think. And I mean, that was another tough race. Joyce laid it out there. She's just getting stronger every year. And it took me longer than it did in Kona to catch her. So I don't like where that trend is going. But I'm full power to Joyce. She's a tough chick, phenomenal athlete and a good person.
Cheers. You both are. You both kind of lovely. And just one last question. You've kind of changed the way you race this year. You did have a mid-season race, which you don't normally do. Do you feel like the change was as good as maybe not as good as a holiday, especially because there's a honeymoon earlier this year, but you felt like the change has been good mentally?
Absolutely. Honestly, when I finished Kona last year, I sort of sat down a few days after, and I even contemplated missing Kona this year just because I'd done the same thing for 5 years, and I just was like, I need to do something different. I can't follow that same formula. Yet how can I go into Kona next year without this winning formula? So-called winning formula. But then, I sort of sat back and looked at the season, and we plugged in Roth, and I think, if there's any coach that can prepare an athlete for multiple big events, it's Cyril Lee. I think she's proven that she can get you ready mentally, physically for the big days. So I put my trust in her, and we put a program together where hopefully we can still peak here.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and all the best on Saturday with the cheering now.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Wow, all this running around, BG,
Making me tired.
I'm so sorry, and it's really hot here and sweaty.
Oh, that's good for me. I've just been sitting back, enjoying the view, taking it easy. It's what you can do when you're not racing.
It's glorious. I come here and I think, I really want to race in Kona, but then I'm here and I'm like, I really don't. Like, it'd be cool, but far out. Do you really want to race here?
Well, I must admit, when the cannon goes off, it gives you goosebumps, and then I wish I was out there. But then I see them on the run, no, I'm quite happy where I am.
You're standing there just with a backpack on and sweating your face off. You're like, nah. I love the greeting in Kona when you get here is, hi, sorry, I'm really sweaty, and everyone's exactly the same.
Well, what about the tweets? I think PJ tweeted the other day that he was sitting watching the swimmers from his lanai with I've got a jumper on, it's quite chilly. I'm like, yeah, you can convince yourself of anything, can't you? It ain't chilly. Chilly is not a word I would ever use to describe Kona.
No.
I don't care what time it is.
No, not at all. All right, we're going to go through a few more women. Now, Corinne Abraham, who came back this year after a broken coccyx and had a great race in Frankfurt. She is one that we'll be chasing from behind. What do you think?
Oh, look, her bike run is one of the best in the world. I mean, her bike run is up there with Rinny in the combination. She's unbelievable. Her biggest problem is her swim, which she has definitely improved. I think her injury gave her the time in the pool, which she needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I still think this swim, any weakness you have is exacerbated in this swim. It's a tough swim.
Yeah.
I mean, you are swimming 3.8k, you don't have a wetsuit.
Yeah.
it can get quite rough out there. There's swell, it's tidal, currents.
Yeah.
So she's going to be out of the water a long way behind that lead pack of girls, and that lead pack of girls are not going to be sitting up waiting for anyone. So with Corinne, I mean, we'll obviously see her steadily move her way up. But we won't actually see Corinne at the pointy end until a fair way through the run.
Yeah.
She will definitely run her way through a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And could definitely top 10.
Yeah.
And may, if she has a phenomenal bike and run, get herself up in the top 5. But I don't think you can afford to have any weakness in this race. You must be a brilliant swimmer, a brilliant bike rider, and a phenomenal runner to take the win. And so you should. It's a world championship.
Yeah.
But I do expect to see Corinne in that last 10 to 12 kilometres really start to storm home.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be exciting.
Yes.
I want to go to a previous champion, Leander Cave, who it kind of feels like she's a little bit under the radar.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what she did when she won as well.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
But and I remember I spoke to you about Leander Cave in the past, and you said when you watched her win, the look on her face, and that's when you knew she was going to bring it home.
Yeah, she's such a professional when she races. She gives it everything, like all the girls do. But I could that year that she won when she overtook Caroline, she was just stealth, and you could tell that there was nothing but the win for her that day. Well, she wasn't settling for anything else, and she races on confidence.
Yeah.
And I think this year she's just been steadily going up, and new coach.
Yeah.
And sometimes a new coach is just fresh ideas, fresh outlook, and she's coming into this race with a fresh outlook, and I think that's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
She's happy.
Yeah.
You can always tell when someone's internally really happy with where they are in their life.
Yeah.
I think you see it on the race course.
Yeah.
And so I think she will have a great day. And again, there's a girl that doesn't have a weakness. So I would never discount a former champion anyway.
No.
But Leander really is in good form. She's healthy, she's uninjured, and she's there from the start. So she puts herself in the playing field from the start because her swim's so good.
Yeah.
I think the girls are going to really push the pace on the bike. So whether Leander can hold that pace or whether she struggles a bit with it, we'll see. But it'll be very interesting to see whether she can get off in that front group.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mary Beth Ellis had an accident prior to last year's Kona, broke her collarbone. She attempted to race, which was... I find it quite interesting because she copped a little bit of flack for why would you go and start that race, but when you've been training for something all year,
you want to give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know. She could have pulled it off. You don't know, but you don't want to die not knowing. She could be sitting in a room feeling sorry for herself.
Yep.
But she went out there, she gave it a go, and she was sensible. She knew it wasn't happening, so she pulled off. But
respect.
100%, if I'd made it all the way here for the biggest race of the year, maybe if it was another race that wasn't as important, then okay, fair enough. But it's a world championship. It comes once a year.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to give it a crack.
She is hard as nails, that woman.
Yeah, she is.
She's the littlest Tonka
Little
tough.
pocket rocket, that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Michelle Vesterby's another one who can mix things up, in that front. She's a very strong biker.
I smile because she's one of my favourites. I love the girl. She's as crazy as a cut snake, and that's why I love her. I always say to her, she reminds me of a young me. Just hard. Like she'll race well, but she has good balance. She still enjoys life so much. Every time you see her, there's a big fat smile on her face.
I know.
She's such a cool chick.
Yeah,
I can't help but smile when I talk about her. She'll be up there. She's a great swimmer. I don't think she's going to get a podium.
Yep.
I'm just being realistic, but she's definitely top 10 for sure. Because she's just getting better and better every year. And I just want to see her up on the stage. Dancing. Up on the stage at the presentation, then up on the stage dancing. That's right.
I love it. A few others. I mean, Lindsay Corbin's had a great year. She finally broke the 3-hour marathon in one of her Ironmans. Heather Wertel as well is really her run has come together so nicely in the last 1 or 2 years.
For a girl that's probably the tallest girl I know, she is a phenomenal runner. Phenomenal runner. And to see how much she's improved over the years. Yeah. I mean, all these girls, Lindsay, Heather, definitely top 10 material.
Yeah.
And if they have a great day, top 5. They're great athletes. But I've got a lot of girls in the top 5. I think I've got about 20 girls in the top 5.
We've listed 35 women, I think, in the past 5 minutes. But it's true. And another one, Natasha Badman.
Yeah.
The original Swiss Miss.
It's the only time when I say I'm turning 44, I'm too old for this. I go, shit, but she's like 47, or what is she now? It's like I can't really use that as an excuse. But oh look, she's special. She's up there with the Chrissy Wellingtons. You know, when she was dominant here, when she was winning every year, she was virtually unbeatable. I think the only time that she was able to be beaten was when someone ran her over. Yeah. So you know, that's what it takes. So a great athlete. So I don't, and I don't discount her either. And if any of the girls up front falter, she will be there running them down.
Yeah.
Again, her swim is a weakness compared to that. And back in the day, the swim wasn't that important in the women's race.
Yep.
It is now. It's like the men's race. If you can't swim well, it's going to be very, very difficult for you, unless you are a phenomenal bike runner, for you to make up the time.
Yep.
And Natasha's swim is obviously quite a ways down on these girls.
Yeah.
But she's still a super strong bike rider and a strong runner. So there's no doubt that if she has a great day, that she could sneak into the top 10, which would be awesome to see. Yeah. And I think Natasha's here because she still genuinely loves it. I don't think she knows that, you know, winning it, or top 3 or top 5's out of her realm. Yeah. But I think she's here because she genuinely loves this race, and she's racing happy and healthy.
Yeah, 226 Ks of smiling.
Yeah.
I reckon her cheek muscles.
That's to be the sorest on her by the next day. You know,
absolutely.
Everything else is all right. Walking around normally, but
All right, I'm going to have a quick chat to second runner-up from last year, Lizzie B.
Lizzie B.
Now, we're actually in your lovely little apartment here in Kona. Second year at the Ironman World Championships. You were a newbie last year. Is it a big difference coming into it not being sort of naive to the island?
Yeah, somewhat. Last year was kind of cool being an absolute, I guess, underdog. Yeah. Like, no one paid any attention to me and I had no commitments. So that was kind of cool.
We paid attention to you.
You guys did. But this year's been a bit different, you know, busier this week. But yeah, it's fun. It's nice to come back to a place that I've got such good memories of. So but at least I know the course now and sort of know what to expect somewhat. Yeah.
And obviously third last year, so you know you want to improve on that. But breaking down the race, is there certain areas that you want to improve on from last year? Yeah,
absolutely. The swim, I'd like to come out with the leaders, and that's what happened last year, and I'd like to be able to do that again. Yeah. The bike, I lost some time on the bike last year. Yeah. It was only a couple minutes in the last 40k or so. Yeah. But I think that level could go up again this year with, you know, Daniela Riff and Jodie both riding really, really strong. Yeah. So I'd like to try and minimise any time I lose on the bike, and then potentially maybe run a couple minutes faster. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's where I'm feeling stronger as well, like the back end of the bike and running off it. So hopefully we'll see how things go.
It's going to be super exciting. I think I actually, you know, jokes aside, I think the women's race is going to be more exciting than the men. Would you agree?
I think it's an absolute cracker for sure. So we've got the top 10 from last year all racing. Yeah. Plus throw in the likes of Jodie, who didn't finish last year, who's on fire, as we've seen. Yeah. Leander last year was injured all year, didn't perform to her potential here. And then the last few races she's had, she's been going awesome as well. And then Daniela, like obviously coming off the win at Tremblant and winning everything she's done this year. Yeah. So there's those three. There's Mary Beth, who was injured last year. So I think strongest field to date. It's going to be exciting.
You've done your homework.
I have.
Do you look at your competition a lot? I mean, I know a lot of people say they've got to race their own game, but at the top level, you've got to know what's going on around you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been racing these girls this year, and you know, some of them, they're my good friends. I follow them on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, so I can't not know what they're doing. I follow them. Sometimes not too closely. I don't want to get in my head, but I know what's going on. Yeah.
And then this year you've also got the support of UPlace BMC. That's got to take a load of stress off you when you've got a team supporting you like that.
Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So we've got a team mechanic here, a team masseuse. It's pretty much anything we need taken care of. Yeah. We have one press day tomorrow, which we get everything taken care of in a couple of hours. Yeah. So the commitments for that are minimal, yet the support is maximal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good. There's 7 of us racing, 2 other girls, Sophie and Corinne.
Yep.
So we've got a really strong team, and we all get along. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to be a part of.
Absolutely. And in a sport that is, mostly individual, it's good to see another, like we've had Team TBB in the past, but it's good to see another company or a few companies getting behind athletes such as yourself.
Yeah, I agree. It's really professional. It's exceeded my expectations. I couldn't ask for anything more from this team, and for us as athletes, it's great. There's nothing else out there like this, but I really hope it sort of inspires maybe other bike brands or whatever to take up teams as well.
Yeah.
It's not an easy way to make a living, a professional triathlete, but the team is the best thing, in my career to date. So, yeah.
And you've also had your coach out here from 51 Speed Shop. We had to give him a bit of a plug.
Listening.
But it's got to help having your coach spending a bit of time with you out here on the island as well, so he can see, what's happening in the weeks leading into the big day.
Yeah, I've dragged him away from his new little baby girl. So
Sorry.
Sorry, Matt. But yeah, it's fantastic. He's the details man and takes care of everything to do with my bike, the aerodynamics, that sort of thing. And he's been around Kona a long time, working with Crowe and Rinny and Julie Dibbins in the past. So a lot of experience, and I can draw on that. And he's a calming presence as well, where sometimes Glenn can hype me up, Matt can calm me down. So it's good to have, a bit of balance.
Awesome. Well, it's so good to catch up with you before the race. Good luck. We'll be cheering stupidly loud. All right. It's been a while since we've had this segment on Witsup TV, but we are reintroducing 60 Seconds with BG. They said it could never be done. I'm not sure it actually will be done this time, but she's going to give it a crack. I'm going to intro her, and then I'm bravely going to hand the microphone over.
Someone better keep count though, because this could turn into 60 minutes.
I know. I'll just leave and go get dinner. And okay, BG, tell us your thoughts on presentation attire. Hold it, because I've got it. You hold that.
All right, we're going to get to time.
Set, go.
Now, I know this may not seem like something of great importance when we have so many issues going on in women's triathlon and etc. at the moment, but one thing that really gets on my goat and it makes me so annoyed is when you see the top 10 females on stage at any Ironman race, or any Ironman distance race, or even, but more importantly at the Ironman World Championships, not getting dressed appropriately for a presentation. I see some girls turn up in shorts and t-shirt with thongs, others turn up in jeans, but particularly this race, it is an Ironman World Championship, it is the creme a la creme, the best of the best, and they need to turn up on that stage looking the part.
Yep.
So, in a nice dress, skirt, it can even be nice shorts, top, but if I get to the presentation this week on Sunday night and it's not good, I'll be angry.
5 seconds to go, nailed it!
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Meredith Kessler, and I am super excited that I've had the honor of being with NV Wheels for the past several years, as they are a benchmark in triathlon now. And what is so great that I feel all people in the triathlon world should know is that what you're looking at right here is the 6.7 wheel set. 60 millimeter front, 70 millimeter back. This is your go-to wheel set. I know it's mine, whether it's blowing a gale out there or it's a nice smooth day. You will rack your bike in transition, and the best part about the day is you'll leave transition and you'll never have to worry about your wheels again. But good luck to everyone racing.
So it's the last couple of days before race day, people are putting their feet up, but any last minute tips for the age groupers out there, particularly the people who haven't been here before?
First timers.
Yeah.
Look, definitely, I've been here 12, 13 times and I still get excited. I'm not even racing. So I think the biggest thing for first timers here on the island is just to stay calm.
Yeah.
It's so difficult when you're out running, swimming. I was down the pier this morning and it was just like a zoo.
I just think it's hilarious that Belinda Granger's saying stay calm.
Yeah, that doesn't really go together, does it?
No.
But really, if you have a coach and you're on a program, stick to it.
Yeah.
Don't swim that extra 10 minutes. Don't do that extra bike session.
Yeah.
Don't buy that new piece of equipment because you think it's going to make you go faster. It's very hard when you've got such an amazing expo with all the latest and greatest gadgets. Stick to what you know and trust.
Yeah.
And be confident that you've done the work. All the hard work's been done
Yeah.
in the months leading into it. Now, it's all about refreshing the mind, getting the body fresh for race day, and really anything you do, anything hard you do from now on is only going to make you slower on race day.
Yeah.
And so you need to get your feet up, be sensible, eat well, hydrate.
Yeah.
And hydrate with electrolytes. A lot of people come here and they just drink copious amounts of water.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is flushing the system. You really need to make sure that you're drinking electrolytes from now, not the day before the race.
Yeah.
And just stay calm. And if you're like me and you're one of these people that can't remove yourself from the situation, stay inside. I have to stay away. Justin, I remember when I used to come here, Justin used to have to grab me and he used to put me back in my apartment and say, "You're not moving for 3 hours." So,
whoa, 3 hours.
I know,
That's
it
a
used to kill
long
me.
time.
Because I'd want to be down there.
Yeah.
I hate missing out, but you really just have to be very, very restrained.
Yep.
And do what you've been told to do, and don't deviate.
Yep.
And then after race is over, you can do whatever you want. That's when you can go crazy. So,
well, speaking of crazy, I'm very much looking forward to partying with you after the race. We can probably do a little bit beforehand as well.
warm up.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for joining us on
Always
the
a
deck
pleasure.
here. Daylight
Love
Mine, great coffee.
Very cool. I must admit, it's the only thing. I've been coming to Kona for how many years now? Never had a good coffee. I'm sorry. Lava Java, etc., etc. No. Finally, we have a great cafe with great coffee, the way Australians like to drink it.
Yes. The owner used to live in Melbourne, so he knows how snobby we are.
Yes, coffee snobs, I admit it. I admit it.
Yeah.
But great food, healthy food.
Yeah.
And I will be pretty much, I'd say I'd be here every day of the 2 weeks that I'm in Kona.
I love it. All right, BG, we're going to let our listeners go off and put their feet up and relax. Thank you once again. We'll see you out on the on race course,
Ciao,
race
everyone.
morning.
Yeah, for sure.
See ya.
Bye.